Hello, YouTube friends. It's me, Theosha Talks. And today, listen, I want to continue to get content out there. I want to be super excited and happy and doing all of these things that honestly feel kind of frivolous right now. And so I'm going to talk to you about something that's serious, but it isn't too heavy for you. But it was heavy for me. And it's about my name. My name is Theosha. I love my name. I used to not like it because it took people a long time to figure it out or understand it or spell it or whatever. But I grew to like it. It makes me unique. I was always the only one in any particular class and, whatever. I feel that I speak with what I call a general American accent. Now, it's being heightened right now just based on the fact that I want to make my point clear. This is something that some Black people do called code switching. So code switching is basically when you go from your dialect of how you speak around your family and your friends to how you would speak in a professional manner. And the reason why I call it professional is because this was my phone voice. This is how I spoke over the phone. And so it is a heightened way. It's higher pitched. It is, I usually smile when I speak, and it comes through over the telephone very well. I'm an aspiring voiceover actress. And so I felt that working these jobs while on the phone was a way for me to kind of get some kind of practice in doing so. And so, yeah. But then in the midst of all of that, while I was working these jobs, my name just seemed to be something that was just so hard for people to understand. And I'm going to take you through a few scenarios. I'm going to phrase it as if it's all one conversation. However, all of this did not happen at once. But I can guarantee you that every day that I was on the phone with a particular company, I talked about my name on 90% of my calls. And some people might have said, Theosha, why didn't you just tell them your name was Estelle? That's your middle name. It's more common, but that's not my name. That's first of all. Second of all, quality assurance has a Theosha in that department. So therefore, I need to tell them what my real name is because it is what it is. So anyway, I don't know anyone else that was working under an alias. So here we go. So I'm going to play both of the parts of myself as the phone operator and the person who's calling. And every single one of these scenarios is true. So get ready. I would get on the phone and I'd say, hello, thank you for calling. This is Theosha. How can I help you? Could you repeat your name, please? Sure, it's Theosha. Could you spell that for me? Of course. T as in Tom, H-E-O-S as in Samantha, H-A. How can I help you? So, does your name mean something, or are you named after somebody? As a matter of fact, I am. My dad's name is Theodore, and my mother got creative. How can I help you? So, are you American? I sure am. How can I help you? So you mean to tell me you have a Social Security card and you were born here in this country? Yes, I was. How can I help you? So where are you from then? Central Illinois, born and raised. How can I help you? Well, that's a very unique name. Sure is. I was usually the only one in my class. How can I help you? So what is your ethnic background? Like, are you white? Are you Black? I identify as African American. How can I help you? You speak so well. Thank you. How can I help you? Could you pronounce your name again? Of course, Theosha. That's such a unique name. Yeah. So, Theosha, as in the Occupational Safety and Hazard Administration. You know OSHA? Theosha. Oh, that's a good way to remember it. Yeah, it is. Theosia. Huh. That's pretty. It doesn't hurt to say it. How can I help you? So this is the kind of banter I would have on a daily basis. And you can ask anyone who sat near me. It was annoying. It was degrading in a way, because no one else had to explain anything about themselves. And no one definitely had to answer any personal questions about themselves or anything like that. And some of you may say, well, maybe you're just being too sensitive. I don't think so. Because if my name were Estelle or something more common, the way that I spoke wouldn't have thrown them off. Or if I sounded more like they stereotypically thought that someone with a name like Theosia should sound, then it's very possible that, there would be no questions. Or maybe they would ask to speak to my supervisor just so they could get me off the phone. Or maybe they would set up their biases and then, determine that I didn't know what I was talking about or anything like that. I don't know. Because I never understood why it was so important for them to understand my name, my background, whether or not I was an American citizen. I have what I believe is called a general American accent. I speak clearly. I enunciate well. Yet and still, because of my name, because it sounded ethnic, it became a whole other monster within itself. And I never understood that. And I'm realizing now that it's just another form of a microaggression, another form of racism, another form of bias. And it hurts to know that no matter how educated, how eloquently I speak, how anything, fill in the blank, that because you can connect me, my name, and this is all over the phone, with a skin color, you automatically go into all of these questions. I don't have a problem with people being curious about my name because it is unique. But when you start asking me my country of origin, and if I'm an American citizen, and about my social security status, and where exactly did I grow up, and all of these invasive questions that you have never asked anyone else that you've ever come into contact with on the telephone, I have a problem with that. And I feel I'm in my feelings about it. And I have been. I don't work there anymore. But that doesn't mean that this type of thing isn't still happening. Like, I've talked like this my whole life. This isn't a show that I'm putting on or anything like that. Like, this is just how I speak and how I have always spoken. Ask anybody that grew up with me, like, for real. And so it just hurts my feelings that there's still some kind of like, well, there's got to be something else. Like, why are you so curious? You're understanding the words that are coming out of my mouth. I asked you politely if I could help you. And every single time, you just kept going back to what was my name and what was going on with me. There is something wrong with that. Because if you're not asking that of the Estelles, Michelles, Sheilas, and Tiffany, and any other name that just sounds like a common name, if you're not asking that of everyone, why are you asking that of me? Because that is my name. Instead, why don't we focus on what the question at hand is? Why did you call this company? You had a question about something, and I'm here to answer that question. I came into work to answer your questions, but instead I'm answering personal questions about myself. And then there are probably going to be people that's going to say, well, I wouldn't have told them anything. Well, I didn't want to tell them anything. But all of our calls were recorded for quality assurance. And I can't help but to believe that at some point, maybe I would have just gotten very upset when I would tell them that that was none of their business, or I don't want to answer that question, and I may have gone off on them. And then I would have been seen as the angry Black woman. And then there would have been consequences and repercussions for that. And that was just something that I just wasn't willing to do at that time. So when you make your phone calls, when you talk to people, when you learn how to treat people with respect and just how you would like to be received and treated. Okay? So, just check your privilege, check your biases, check all of the above, because you're doing a disservice. So when things like George Floyd's death come up in the media, that's a far example from where I'm coming from on today. However, it's that kind of attitude toward my name that leads to deaths such as that. And some people may say that I'm reaching when I say things like that, but I don't think so. Because it's every single piece of the puzzle that adds up to the overt racism that we see in this country. And that's unfortunate. Sometimes I wonder how many jobs I didn't get because my name sounded ethnic. Same degree, same GPA, same experience, same social obligation, same volunteerism, same whatever as someone who had a more common sounding name. But did I miss out on things because my name sounded a certain way? I don't like that. Get to know people for who they are. Because no one is in charge of naming themselves. And you don't know why someone is named anything. So let's just start respecting people from the ground up. Let's do that, okay? Let's just leave the judgments and all of the things in the past that your experience, because you don't know that person. So get to know that person. And it is not getting to know that person by asking them a bunch of personal questions when this isn't a personal question type situation. I was there to provide a service. You called for said service, but you spent so much time talking about me and my name. Sometimes I wish that I could go back and ask quality assurance to add up all of the minutes and the time that, because there are statistics on everything else when you work in certain places. So if that's the case, could you tell me how much time I spent talking to people about my name when that's not what I was engaging them in? I'd answer their question. And then I'd say, how can I help you? Just to show that I was not trying to derail the conversation or take it in a different direction or postpone anything or waste time on the phone. Like, I was trying to be responsible. But I find that that's not, So I'm not here for the foolishness, And anybody who thinks that, my feelings about this matter is invalid, or that it doesn't happen to a lot of people, you can go ahead and have yourself a tall, refreshing glass of shut up, because that's not what I'm here for. So, with that being said, I want you to know that Black lives matter, because they do. I have a Black life and it matters. And every single other one does as well. And I need you to not twist that around and say anything different, because we as a whole are treated less than. And it's not fair. I don't like it. And I want you all to stop it. Give people the respect that you believe that you also deserve. Okay? All right. Bye-bye.